I don't know if boop. Okay, so that brings up Steam overlay. Okay, testing. All right, cool. All right, so hey everybody, it's Hasturilla here. How's everybody doing? So I've decided on trying to go with Stellar Tactics. So if you watched kind of the end of our last stream, we were deciding what to go next onto. And my three options pretty much was Remnant, this Stellar Tactics, or I was also gonna try to plan a multiplayer survivalist playthrough. Right now, this is probably the what do you call it? Probably the best option, I think, because we got one day till the weekend and we only stream on the weekdays. So I think it's probably a good idea. Also, Remnant's having a DLC come out in the future, and I think I might come back to it at some point. A lot of people I didn't realize just how many people are still doing Remnant in terms of like videos and content like that. So we'll see. I might try to stick with things that don't get as much as publicity as I think they should, because I think Stellar Tactics is another one that's really cool. I played it a bit. I think it's something that really there's not much out there about, and I think that it really deserves to have a little bit of attention. Now, just to let you know, it's been in development for a while, and it's pretty much mostly done. And just to let you know, this number that we're going to use for a seed if you want to play along, that's right there. And it's actually the first time I joined up on, started doing any kind of video, video making or anything like that. That's actually when I started doing anything. So, yeah, sorry, way back then. But I mostly got rid of most of my videos from way back then, just because a lot of them were fairly early on. I mean, we played RimWorld a lot. I know some people mentioned RimWorld. We actually played RimWorld a lot then. I kept a few that were older, but this is we'll move on with this. Stellar Tactics is definitely a game that I think would definitely benefit from having a little bit more material out there. Because I know for me, I've tried to look for material on it, and there's just not much. So that's enough explanation. Let's move on and create our character. While we're generating the universe, though, I'll give you a few tips. So if you read about the guides a lot for this, almost everything talks about intelligence. And I get that a lot of people would like intelligence, but something that most people might not know is everything levels to you. So I'm like, why is it we keep picking intelligence? I mean, eventually intelligence, because intelligence basically raises up your skill, right? Your skill growth. So intelligence is not bad. You'll definitely level up faster. But you basically have two kinds of XP in this game. You have skill XP and you have general XP. You can't level up until you reach 5 skill upgrades in certain skills, or you get general XP increase, right? So this is kind of think of it as you're going to learn a lot of things about this game. Maybe try to be more informative in the very beginning and then move on as we're playing. But in the character creation section, if you're here just for like a guide or something like that, I want this to be good for you too. So in terms of, I want this to be something you can use in your own gameplay. So we're going to I'm just going to put, well, no, let's make a new person. Rather than use just Hasturilla here. We had Barry, Bart, Barry, and all the rest of them, Mikey, Mygo, and all the other ones in Survivalist. So let's think of someone up just for, let's go. I don't know. For some reason, when I look at this character, it makes me think of Abraham Lincoln because of the chin strap beard. So maybe something. So, I think it's. I feel really silly, but I think that's how Lincoln's spelled. Hold on. Oop. Seeing if I can get. Let me make sure I'm spelling it right. That sounds silly, but I really. It's not a name I typically spell too much. Yep, I'm spelling it right. Good. Okay, we're good. So, Lincoln. So, let's put last name Lincoln. What else do we want to do? Sci-fi kind of. Let's go. And the game reminds me, for some reason, a little bit of Dead Space. So let's go Lincoln Clark. He's related to Isaac Clarke, but with like an E instead of it. This I don't know. Is it Clark with a or Lincoln Clark? Not related. Let's go with. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do Lincoln Clark, but with an E to be fancy. Or no, let's just do Lincoln Clark with an E. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So, intelligence basically is, and I'm going to do a little bit of a guide over real quick. So, the intelligence basically is going to raise your skill gain, which is basically in these skills. And the reason why I feel like it's important to do a guide is because it does not level up normal. So you might wonder why we're doing certain things. It increases how fast these level up, right? You may go, oh, I want to level up every one of these. Well, that will raise your max level. And you go, oh, isn't that great? Well, everything else is going to level to that max level. Now, there's things that are a set higher level, right? They're set at a higher level, but once you reach them, then they level with you, right? Nothing will be below your level. Unless, like, your average team level is lopsided, like you're a really low level person and a really high level person. So it is not like it's weird because I've seen people like they were like some on one of the guides. They're like, oh well, why is this one person just leveling up shotguns? I'm like, the reason why they're probably just leveling up shotguns is that they have a higher skill in shotguns than their level would typically have. So keep in mind, I would don't jump out at people for going away from intelligence or away from multi skills because it may seem like they're leveling slower, but they're leveling better, if that makes any sense. They're leveling better. Because if you keep leveling, eventually they're going to uncap the level top as well. So you might go, oh, well, it doesn't matter since you're going to have to get max and everything anyway. Well, eventually this game's going to have no cap. It's just going to go infinitely. So all those 30 level skills and things you never use will be raising your level, but be meaningless to the actual effectiveness of your character. So be careful with that. Space things are an exception. They do not apply at all. So right here, what you want to do is you want to put skills and things you're going to know you're going to use, right? So you have to have 4 in one of these and 4 in one of these, right? But for a total of 5, you'll put all of them in one thing. So we're going to go... Melee also gets underrated because melee is good for a blocker, but I would not use it for a human here unless they're a stopgap, because there are mutants in the game and you'll want to have access to them. So hold on, do something real quick. Okay, so all right, so keep in mind that. All right, so we're going to increase, and big guns also, there's a mutant that specifically gets a bonus to big guns. We're going to probably go with rifles. We could go with pistols, but you know what? Some machine guns are really good too. And most things are close range. Well, we'll start with attributes. So, again, a lot of people like intelligence, but until they add psionics, or the psychic energies, I feel like that's overrated. I think it's just very, very overrated. Yes, you'll level up faster, but you'll be weaker for your level. You progress faster story-wise, but that's up to you. If you want to get like everything, eke every single thing out of it, right? Then definitely ignore intelligence. If you just want to progress through the game, keep a level of intelligence, just so that you have it's not vastly comparison. But I see some people going like 60% intelligence. I'm like, come on, no. Yes, you're gonna be really high level for whatever you're fighting at that moment, right? Because you're gonna level past them. But eventually, it's gonna get so hard to level, even with like crazy amount of intelligence, things are gonna be much more powerful than you. So unless I don't, now it does help initiative. It does help initiative, so you're not totally losing out. You will attack first, right? It helps, believe, even more than agility and dexterity. So there is one consolation, and when psionics come in, you're going to be both really powerful and level fast. So until psionics come in, I'd hold off on intelligence unless you really don't like grinding. So just keep that in mind. Perception for ranged, if I go ranged, I almost always put all perception. Because the way I play games is I have just enough endurance to take hits, for example, right? Which we don't really worry at that moment, to take at least one hit, and I make sure whoever I hit dies. If that makes sense, like I make sure that that's it, that's, that I have enough perception that whenever I get a chance, because perception dictates damage and actually whether you hit. So I like to make sure that just enough health to take a hit, and then enough damage to make sure that they die after their turn. Because even though it seems like things can double up, there's like rounds. It doesn't distinguish which round you're in. So you might think, oh, they're moving twice. Well, not really. They're just moved at the end of last round and the beginning of this round. Or an event can happen which will move them to the beginning of that round, but they're not really moving twice. They are still subject to initiative, so they're really still acting once a round. They may just be changing their position if they have high initiative in the round. Sometimes switching to where it's better for them and bad for you. But oftentimes, I like having as much perception as possible if my character's a ranged character. And I think we said we were going for... There's one fight I will warn you about. I won't spoil too much, but this is the hardest hump to get over if you're a very long-ranged guy. There's one particular fight that makes it really difficult. But I think we'll probably be okay. Maybe do pistols, but I've never really understood why pistols rather than SMGs. Other than all pistols are pretty much can do single shot, but not all SMGs can do single shot. So, wait a minute. Oh, also charisma is a little bit of a trap. Don't go into charisma unless you except on one character where they have all charisma. That's who you want to have your charisma. It's funny. I noticed. Oh, there we go. I have a little. You probably couldn't see it, but I had a little bar across the bottom of my screen. But dexterity is good for initiative, and for if you have a character who wants to hack or do things like that. So for anyone who's like their side, like they're just going into hacking or something like that, dexterity is good. Not absolute. Now this I don't think is working yet. The critical hit chance bonus, but you get like double the damage from perception than you get from something like dexterity. But that helps both strength, this close range, and then farther range too. Oh man, that's a hard one. I actually have never done the pistol or SMG as a primary, but I've always had a side character who's had it. I've never done shotguns. Now we have friendly fire on. You can turn it on and off. It helps both you and the enemy, so keep that in mind. If you are... You know what? We won't go rifles this time. We're going to go shotguns. Shotguns kind of lost quite a bit of strength lately. It's hard to really decide, but either way, I don't want to spend too much too much time on this. We'll decide on this first. I'm gonna go first aid because first aid makes the most sense if I have to pick one of these skills, because I will very likely have to use first aid at some point. If you have to have two skills, I would always recommend at least one weapon, one primary weapon. That's what you're going to use, and then one primary defense. One primary way of preventing you from dying, which is almost always first aid. You could invest heavily into endurance, but first aid's still going to help that because percentage of health is how medkits work. So the higher endurance, the higher percentage of health you increase, generally you're better off. You know, in honor of Barry, we'll make a shotgunner. In honor of Barry, he used the shotgun and a sniper rifle almost all the time, but he used the shotgun more. You know, effectiveness be darned. We're just going for Lincoln Clark with a shotgun. He's going to be kicking indoors. Oh, I increased dexterity. I want to increase endurance. But if he's going to be doing that, he's going to need some endurance. Because he's going to be up in the front. Behind the melee person. Keep in mind, behind the melee person. No one gets in front of them. Because the melee person can hit anyone who tries to leave, and that's free damage. And melee person, for me, I always do as much endurance as possible. You can throw a little agility in there, but it's endurance through the roof for anyone who's melee. So let's give it a shot. So Lincoln Clark, welcome to the team, or welcome to the universe. We'll get you started. A little bit of a long intro today, but hopefully that was informative. I think that will be... Whoop. Oh yeah, I'll let the intro play. However, I will notice one thing real quick is I didn't realize that someone just took an absolute something on that wall. There, like that does not look like just dirt. That's like oddly positional. I mean, even that right there. It's funny, like dirt splotches being like locational and things like, especially on a space station. It's like it can't be dirt. Like it's got to be something, and it's not dirt. Is where no one's gonna be dragging in, like no one's gonna be like, oh, I got dirt on my spacesuit. I have to kind of wipe it off. It's definitely whoop. Okay, so now you do start with it. I think it's the same crew every time. Yeah, it does seem like you start with the same crew every time, other than your main character. So let's go. I won't try to spoil anything about the prologue. I've been a little bit through the whole thing, so I'll let it go. Okay, so Dr. Ramus, hello. Can you? Hello, can you hear me? Barely, you're breaking up. Broken junk. Still having problems hearing you. Click. That should do it. Oh, very good. I can see you on the monitor. Much better. Exactly what is the situation? Maybe you should give him a voice. Dr. Ramus. I wonder. Probably sounds kind of like a mad genius. I don't know exactly. Mad genius can kind of sound like anything. My name is Dr. Mortimer Ramus. I can't even do a voice. I'm not going to do a voice for Dr. Mortimer Ramus. You can call me Doc. Or maybe you could do like Back to the Future Doc. I apologize for your abrupt arousal. Okay. We have a most unusual circumstance. Okay, that ruined my whole... Okay, so... He told me his name. I'm going to ask him who he is. As I mentioned, I'm Dr. Ramus. I'm a member of 2 rotational shifts here on the Dauntless. My cryo shift engaged 3 weeks ago. My job specifically to analyze the medical condition of the colonists in stasis aboard the ship. Do you know what triggered the emergency cryo-res? Well, I skipped something. Oh, it doesn't matter. More on that later. First, are you fit? Are any physical anomalies? How is your memory? Oh, so many questions. You seem, from what I can see, very exciting. You seem well from what I can see, very exciting. I think so. It's difficult to remember why we are here. I wonder. Yes, you have minor neurological damage. Okay. Likely nothing serious. I suspect over time you will recover. You, to answer... I can't do the doc from from Back to the Future. I keep forgetting what his name is. Without saying Marty. Like... I should name myself Marty so this guy can say Marty. Phage is a viral disease deadly in more ways than one. However, a cosmic anomaly and the primary reason we are on the ship. I'll explain it in more detail later. However, right now we need to get you prepared. I assume you are ready for training. You remember your training. Training, yes, for the most part. Okay, let's get you prepared. Meanwhile, I'll review the protocols of activating your mission parameters. Please proceed through the door. Okay, let's go ahead. Run through here. Great. It looks like you followed my instruction. Can follow instructions. It's right. I'm trying to think of what Doc would say, but it's making me think different than what they're saying. If a manual is correct, the lockers in this room contain your weapons and body armor, along with a few bits and bobs. Let's see. Okay, the protocol documented here states that you should equip yourselves. Got it. Let's get cracking. Time is of the essence. I'm reading through the mission protocol now, and I should be able to brief you momentarily. Okay, we're all dressed. Fantastic, you look ready for business. Let me activate your data implants. This will only take a moment. Actually, this is kind of a neat thing you'll see in just a second. What data implants? Good question. The manual says the team has implants surgically applied. These implants receive transmit data between squad members. The information is projected onto an ocular array, and providing squad members with superior battlefield intelligence, communication, rapid access to reference information. Data stored includes an active tally of on-hand equipment, mission parameters, blah blah blah. Once the implants are activated, I should be able to communicate with you discreetly through your implants. Okay, let's see. If I press this button... Whoop, there we go. How's that? It burns. Yes, you should get used to it. Now that there should be chests or boxes with ammunition and equipment, you should gather as much as you can carry. When you are finished, head through the next door. I'll fill you in on the details of our situation. Okay, we won't worry about the guide because I kind of know what I'm doing here. Oh! No, sorry. I wasn't paying too much attention to chat quite yet. So I see, hold on. Mercury rising? I'm actually not sure. Looks like oh, wow. Okay, so let me catch up real quick. Oh, Sniper Plays, nice to see you again. And Trip Hill. Actually, I feel like you're newer. Or no, hold on. Are you newer? If I'm saying you're newer and it's actually been a while, I think I've seen your name around. I don't think you're newer. I think you've been around for a while. I do remember seeing your name around. Is this anything like Mercury Rising? I'm not actually sure. Hold on. Actually, oh, so that's a whole movie? I'm actually not really sure. Actually, I have to watch that. I'll see if I can find out what. Actually, I haven't checked that out, so I'll have to check that out. I think I should have started with a shotgun though, but it's glad to see that I got some returning folks. Okay, so we got everything. But I imagine, like, if it seems like it may very well be. I wouldn't be surprised. If it seems like it's taken an inspiration from a lot of things. Let's go ahead and move around real quick, though. So we got a few places we won't be able to go yet. Okay, so more Dr. Amos. Okay, let me start at the beginning. I realize you. Now I'm imagining like Bruce Willis. I took a quick look and I saw that was a Bruce Willis movie, and now I'm getting like I guess it's just the hair. I don't know. Okay, let me start at the very beginning. I realize you may not remember why we are here. Phage is one of the reasons. A virus so insidious that it destroyed the majority of life on our planet. We've endured wars between the great houses of our world for thousands of years, climate change, plague, and starvation. We finally succumbed to a tiny invader that mutated so fast that our physicians and scientists couldn't keep up. We'll just continue for that so we get to more lore of it. antigenic drift. Our immune systems would fight and lose. Our most curious, this strain of the virus was different. If it was as it sought to meld with our physiology, symbiosis. Yet it was unsuccessful, and the result was the destruction of the host. Fascinating in a way, yet horrible and deadly. The result was terrifying. The virus attached itself to our neurological system, destroying the host's brain, yet leaving the brainstem intact. The streets of our world were filled by mindless creatures, twitching and gyrating, bodies in motion, with no purpose. It attacked all mammalian life, mutating human and beast. Soon our sources of food were depleted, crops devastated, and water poisoned. Within 20 years of our planet was decimated, cities overgrown, the only remaining law of the houses. They had retreated to their shelters, euthanizing any who showed signs of the disease, taking in those who could be proven immune. Grim days indeed. Yes, there were some who were immune to the phage, very few. You are immune as I am. In fact, this ship and 3 others are. I believe all that remains of humanity, hurtling across the universe. We're all immune, or so we thought. I haven't been saying my responses, but okay. I'll get to that. The result was a world with a bleak future, but we held on and we made some progress. In fact, the houses had started to communicate again. We found ways to cultivate safe foods, water. Plans were in place to venture forth again in an attempt to recolonize. Then something tragic and final happened or occurred. Whoop! Ah, darn it, we skipped again. Okay. Either way, we built great ships. One of which you are on now, the Dauntless. One of 4 that contained the sleeping remnants of humanity. 4 giant ships speeding across the galaxy just below the speed of light, aimed at two likely new home systems separated by a mere 2 light years. Both the last solution to our issue. There is much more I can say, but this is not time for an extended history lesson. It's time to discuss the here and now. Yes, explain why you woke us. You are actually a very well-hidden secret. I was not even aware of your existence. You are a member of a tactical squad whose sole purpose is to eliminate any hostile threat to our mission. That is, the mission of arriving at our destination. Very highly trained and apparently surgically and genetically. Wow, we just kind of got lucky, huh? I had often wondered what was behind that door. Explain the threat. Yes, well, murder. That and the phage outbreak. Several of the crew members have been murdered, and others may be infected. I am locked in the bridge and only have just stumbled across information about you while searching through the emergency protocols. The ship is on lockdown, and I need your help to stabilize the ship. Exactly who was murdered? 2 of my colleagues, I suspect. I watched Emily Jensen murder Jason Taft. Myself while we were in the living quarters. Mayhem after that. There must be survivors. Engaging the emergency protocols has locked down the ship. Most of the cameras and communications are offline. Emily Jensen, Dr. Jensen is our lead immunologist. I hope I'm saying that wrong. I hope I'm saying it right, not wrong. Immunologist. Her job is to check samples for fluidic chambers to analyze viral stasis and immune system stability. She works with our team to troubleshoot issues related to long-term cryosuspension and physical degradation. Unlike you and me, the 125,000 residents of this ship are suspended in fluidic chambers. That's a big amount of people on the ship. A safer and much more stable form of deep sleep. And then Jason Taft, systems engineer, one of 2. We take shifts every 200 years. 2 shifts wake up to caretake, monitor sleepers, as we call them. Our journey is a total of 10,000 years at near the speed of light, 1,000 years acceleration. A lot of details. I'll skip on past this a little bit. If you want to read it, Okay, let's go to why did she murder him? That's a very good question and complicated. You see, there's greatly disagreed on the nature of a discovery we had made recently. They had never gotten along, oil and water. She is dangerous, and you should not hesitate to put her down. Put her down? Is that our mission? Yes. That and rescue any other team members that may be alive. We need the situation stabilized immediately. We cannot continue with our mission and revive replacement crew members until the situation is resolved. Your first mission is restore power to the elevators. You need to find engineering terminal near each of the 4 core reactor nodes of this on this level. Manually override the emergency protocols at all 4 engineering stations. Following that, terminate Emily Jensen. I'll be in touch. We'll decide whether or not to terminate her. I highly recommend that you eliminate her on sight. She is emotionally unstable and quite dangerous. We shall see. I've added your mission to log. Okay, end conversation. So let's move on. A little bit of a info dump to start, but it definitely starts moving. If I remember correctly. Okay, we already got everything in there. So now, one thing that I want you to be able to know that you can take advantage of in the game. Hold on, let me check real quick. Oh, Mercury Fallen. Oh, okay, cool. Hold on. Oh, a guy. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, it's funny that there's both a Fallen and Rising, and both would actually be something. Oh yeah, maybe. That's a game I haven't given it a shot yet, but I think I've seen stuff about it, so I would not be surprised. So I have any. Yeah, it's probably machine construction. Yeah, it kind of looks like it in aesthetics. Now it's not this isn't a colony builder or anything. Like it's not. It is. Think of it like that. Maybe as like a. Ooh, this must be engineering stations you mentioned. Think of it as if it was a RTS or not RTS, a CRPG version of that, and that's probably the closest. But it's cool that I kind of introduced you to the platform. That's good. That's good to hear. Hopefully it's. Ooh, been all positives. Let's go ahead and get that stuff there. Actually, recall there's a few people that kind of happened with me myself. With if I have to recommend, like I played CDDA for a long time, just on my own, for a while. And one person I watched a lot was Vormithrax, and I think I host him. I host him on my channel because you can host like different creators. I host him on my my videos. So if you ever get a chance, he typically has some very good videos. If you're ever doing something CDDA related, Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead. So he actually kind of, in a way, got me over onto here, onto streaming. Not personally, but watching his stuff got me onto over here. But most of his stuff I end up seeing the VODs of. The video on demand. Mostly because now I stream kind of at the same time. Wonderful. Now proceed to the elevator. The override has been unlocked. The door is just ahead of you. When you get there, take the elevator down to the crew deck. Oh, did I say who I was watching? Vormithrax. Vormithrax is the person I was referring to. If you won't be able to get to the vats. The entry deck is locked down. I'm not sure what the problem is, but we can deal with it when we have more information. Vats? Yes, vats are very large fluidic suspension containers. The remnants of human race are sealed in these containment chambers in a deep, stable cryosleep. Each vat contains over 260 human beings. Okay, he already told us how many people, so he's telling us to do the math, but he already did the math for us a while back. Okay, let's move on. Now, one thing I want you to know about with this game is there's a little bit of a smart way to play it. And the first thing you want to know is the toggle combat, right? So, I'm acting a little bit on foreknowledge. Well, not so much on foreknowledge, but here, I'll walk in. It kind of warns you, so. Okay. Wait, my God, is that? Yes, I think it is. This is very bad. Viral symptoms are greatly accelerated over previous iterations. You must be very careful. One of my colleagues, Kelly Masters, she seems to have acquired the virus, phage. I can see her just around the corner on my monitor. She seems to have acquired a taste for flesh. Horrific and advanced system of the phage. Usually symptoms like this may take many months to infest. A truly grisly sight. I'm quite shaken up. What are the symptoms of the phage? The infected become non-responsive after a high fever. The virus begins to change the physiology of the person it infects, rapidly necrotizing the skin, especially areas exposed to air. Internally, it slows the heart, changes the way the blood distributes oxygen and glucose, destroys the high-level functions of the brain. The virus attacks the cells and reorganizes the way they utilize food energy. The infected develop an appetite for protein, which then seems to be their primary physiological drive. Their entire process can take over 8 months to play out. I see. What can you recommend? You must be very careful. At this stage, the infected will attack anyone who not infected or in the early stages of phage infection on site. They are strong, fast, strong, and relentless. You must terminate Kelly Masters immediately. I am terribly concerned. There seems to be a body in the corridor that I cannot make out just who it is. Once you terminate Dr. Masters, please search the body for any evidence that could identify it. I cannot believe how quickly Kelly's infection has advanced. Is this virus airborne? Should we be concerned? No, the virus is not airborne. At least I don't think it is. You should be immune, but Dr. Masters, was also immune. You, however, have the advantage of a genetically modified metabolism. You were born with a hard-coded immune response to viruses. Basically immune. We're lucky, aren't we? We're like immune to everything. We're like we're perfect people for this situation. Quite amazing. You are a weapon designed to destroy the phage. So unless the phage has developed more advanced pathogenesis, you should be safe. I, however, will remain where I am. End conversation. Wouldn't it be funny if it's just he's lying to us? That he's not, nope, everybody's not that, we're not immune or different things like that, and he's just wanting us to deal with it and not him. It kind of, yeah. Actually, it does kind of sound like a CRPG Doom. It does kind of seem like that. I got some Dead Space vibes too, just because of the clothes, the outfits of these starting characters. I don't know why. If you ever saw the animated movies, because they came out with a bunch of animated movies around Dead Space. I was a big fan of the Dead Space stuff, and I looked at a lot of the other stuff, just like the clothes. Ooh, sorry, I had to sneeze. Excuse me. But for some reason that reminds me of their uniforms. I don't know why. I could be just thinking. But thinking about it. But first of all, let's upgrade our people because we know we're going to get in a combat situation. So we want to make sure they've got some stuff. So they're the SMG person. We want them to have some. We'll do that. Oh, not dexterity. We want to give them some endurance because they're going to be up close. If they're going to run around somebody, they're going to hit either shotgunner or the SMG. Now, the way I typically play this game is I play with 3 riflemen and a melee person to block anyone from running past them. And if they run past them, it takes them too long to get to rifle guys. But I want to try something different. I want to be more condensed because especially some of the dungeons, it becomes really the range strategy works out really well sometimes, but then other times it's like the game really doesn't want you to do that, especially for big boss events where it really makes you have to run over kind of certain triggers to get things to happen. So keep in mind that 3 rifles can be really fun. It's gonna be really, really fun. You run out of ammo real fast, I will say that, but you're probably better off just keeping 1 rifleman, and I won't be the rifleman this time. I'll have excuse me. Oh, we are one-handed melee. You know what, we can do with 2 melee people. Well, probably better off not having 2 melee people. We'll have her be the rifle. But then again, the starting area doesn't really have too many. Oh, yeah, and also you can change the looks and name of. Oh, I just realized you can change the name of your characters. I have an amazing idea. I'll wait past the prologue. I'll wait past the prologue because these guys are already set. But you do get to recruit people later on, and we'll have any of the new recruits. We'll have any new recruits. If you want, I can throw in some names if you guys have any suggestions. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, the Dead Space, like with the Dead Space games, like they're definitely you kind of have to I think it's kind of like I think any kind of genre is kind of a little bit hit and miss with people. Like it depends on if you kind of like those kind of style games, and the movies kind of follow that same kind of thing. So if you're like a big fan of horror games, they're like a thing, but like if you like faster paced horror games kind of thing, because it's more of like a faster paced horror game. Oop, we want them to do just perception. We're gonna have them do the rifle. I know that they have one-handed melee, but everyone has something other than rifle, so not that big a deal. And it won't be that big to really affect them. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I messed up. Oh no, I messed up. I set the rifleman in first. Okay, there's a tactical combat thing I've been wanting to show, and I totally forgot to do it. You can go into tactical combat and basically move up in tactical combat before you ever run into them. So you can kind of, if you have a feeling that you're being fought, like someone's gonna come after you, you can do that. It's a great strategy, but we want to level up their range a little bit, so we're gonna have them shoot to hit. Also, keep in mind, accuracy for skills is based off of basically how many times you hit. General accuracy is like damage. Or general experience is like damage. So if you want to level up a skill real fast, shoot accurate hits. Shoot things, and also if you want to be even a little more accurate, hold the E button, and you can kind of eke out a little bit of extra accuracy. Like that there. And we could have done burst, but I'm trying to get their skill up a little bit. I totally forgot to level up the last guy too. Mason here. Oop. Oh, he missed both. That's actually kind of unusual for that high of a chance. We're going to set him on defend. We want him to defend. Now, he's not crouching, so if I shot, I'd shoot him in the back. So we're going to have to move somewhere else. And I have burst fire here. So we're going to move somewhere else real quick. We're going to move here. Now, if you're crouched, you can't get friendly fired. So you're pretty much all clear. He might still get friendly fired because he may be in the cone. He might just be out of it. So he might just be just okay. Okay, yeah. SMGs are just amazing in this game. I really love SMGs in this game. I'll just tell you right now. They're really, really, really fun. But I have not ever tried a shotgun, so I just really, really want to give it a go. Now, he's going to be a blocker because he's got the biggest... Two-handed weapons are probably best used purely to block entries. The reason why is because you only swing once, attack of opportunity. So if they're trying to run by you, right? A one-handed person is going to hit once, but they're not going to do that much damage because they're supposed to hit multiple times, right? A two-handed weapon person does, much more damage in one hit. So it's going to be more meaningful in that regard. So we want to take them up to 10 endurance, and we're going to throw, because we don't really have access to the mutants that would be better for melee at the moment. So he's probably going to be our best option. We're going to add. Melee typically has a good chance to hit, and this will increase our health. We're going to go 1-1. How about that? We want predominantly endurance because we want him to be able to stop people from running in. Some people argue against endurance. it's not good short term. It's really good long term because of first aid. Once you get like a huge health pool, you can get to a point of where you can just heal more than the enemy can possibly ever hurt you. So, we need to get his stuff. So you run into a situation of where, what a fate. I hope he didn't suffer. Marty, yeah, there we go. There's a Marty. Marty, what's several engineers on our shift? If you don't know, like every time I watch Back to the Future, every time he goes Marty, I love to throw in something like it's a need every time I watch that movie. It's just going Marty because the way he says it is just hilarious. He's like Marty. Like every time it's like he's gonna give him a heart attack at some point. Like watch the movie again and just like think every time he comes up to him, it's like he basically shouts to him if he ever says his name. And the way he says it is just great. I like the actor who did that was really well. I am terrible with name. Emmett Brown, I want to say. Is that his name? Emmett Brown? Oh no, that may be. Is that the actual character's name? I don't know. Whoever the actor's name for the guy who played. I'm terrible with names, but the guy who played Doc. I loved the way he said Marty in that movie. It was hilarious. I mean, and now they have that whole parody, they even like. I think part of why even like they made like Rick and Morty and everything like that. I think it's one of the reasons why it was so successful was partly because it's inspired based of Back to the Future and kind of playing off of that character he built in that movie. No insult intended for the show. Just what do you call it? That I love that that character and stuff. I love the Doc Brown. Yeah, I think it's Doc Brown, right, in the movie. Either way. So what a fate! Marty was one of the several engineers on our shift. Very nice guy. Kept the ship running. We played cards a few times a week on the crew deck. I'll see that he gets a proper ceremony before this is over. Right, in conversation. So Marty didn't make it. I think they could not. I wonder if that was actually intentional. Whoop! Okay, press Q and you can return back to where you were. I wonder if that was intentional that they added a Marty. Whoever the game developer added a Marty just because he knew he had a Doc Ramus or a Dr. Ramus in the prologue. But seriously, like it's a great like if you go and count how whenever he goes through the movie and says Marty, it's hilarious. Oh, you did survive. Oh yeah. Games can also be at a weird time. Games like there's some games I really missed out on because. I can get that. There's some games I really missed out on because sometimes you're just either in a different kind of game or you're just tired of it for a little while and you're just wanting to do something else. Like that's kind of where I had when I first started out doing a lot of these video stuff, I kind of was like, well, maybe I try to mess around with this kind of writing and things like that. And I just really enjoyed games. I even wanted to do writing for games, and I still do quite a bit of just writing on the side. Believe it or not, I've actually had a few things, but like small things, not related to anything. I've always games have kind of been since I was like a little kid, and this will be hilarious. When I was like a little kid, like little kid, I played one of the early, we call it Unreal tournaments, and if you play some of those early ones, you know that's probably a lot of exploding people for like someone who's not even 10 yet. So I don't know. Probably I'm guessing a lot of people in my age group probably in that same situation of where they like when they were little they played games that were probably a little more violent than you'd expect it to have in modern games in terms of like for kids. But they weren't kids games. Like clearly like Mortal Kombat. Not Mortal Kombat. I guess people probably when Mortal Kombat was around, like as when people were kids, I imagine that same thing happened. I imagine that kids always tend to get get possession of games that maybe a little bit higher age rating than they really are recommended or whatever. I don't think it did any permanent damage to me. We call it. You're now in the crew deck. This is the primary living and working area, split into 2 wings. I don't have any control of any systems, so I won't be able to track you or communicate with you once you leave the lobby. You'll be on your own. I'm sure the labs are locked down since there are volatile chemicals and bio waste. Parts of the living quarters are also locked down according to information I have available. Bio waste. Okay. My guy just wanted to say bio waste. Alright, so samples of tissues and fluids collected from colonists. We sample a cross-section of population regularly to ensure their safety. Oh, I think my mouse is double-clicking. Or maybe it's a stream thing. Maybe my mouse is interacting somewhere weird. Not sure. Okay, I think a check of the living quarters is in order. You need to identify any survivors and terminate any of the infected, if there are any. I am detecting life signs in the labs and the crew quarters. You should take care and do not hesitate to terminate any infected you come across. I'll put some thought into how we gain entry to the lab wing. If I have any ideas, I'll be in touch if comms are available. The living quarters are directly ahead of you through the doors, and the research lab is just past the living area. Remember, if you come across Dr. Jensen, you should terminate her on sight. She's highly volatile. Number one suspicious thing is saying, kill that person. Don't let him say anything. I'm on to you, Dr. Ramus. You seem really intent on reminding me to kill them. Okay, so whoop, I may have already. Oh no, nothing's there. We're good. Maybe someone in here. Let's go toggle combat. Let's wait our turn.
Let's do this.
Let's wait our turn. Now, the one thing I would say with the voice acting is that I think it's the same voice actor for all the male voices and all the female voices. We didn't actually set a voice. So I could have a very... Oh, no. Okay, so what I mean is I think that all the male voices have one voice actor and all the female voices have one voice actor, right? But you can kind of tell a little bit. That or they sound very similar, right? That's someone trying to do a different voice. It's a quirky part of the game. It's both funny and a little goofy. I'm going to delay our turn. But you'll notice it a little bit when characters talk. Oh, there we go. Yep. Jason Taft. So that's the guy he said was murdered. If I'm correct. So we want to guard. What we want to do is guard this doorway. Oh, I forgot to crouch him. I want to crouch him. And then, oh, darn, I messed up. Means I shoot him in the back of the head if I try to shoot at this point. So they're SMG, so we want to move them kind of right behind him. If we can. Shotgun and SMG, we want right up there. Because they get increased accuracy. I want to crouch. And then we want to defend. Just in case they decide to run by him. And we have no real other option. So we want to stand, crouch. Okay, crouched. And then we want to... defend? Yeah, defend. Now, this is our rifle person. They can step back a bit, because if they're too close, they'll lose accuracy. They can actually shoot right now. So we'll move 2 so they can still shoot, right? Now there's a max accuracy, not max accuracy, max range. So you gotta keep that in mind. But I think no one's blocking our line of sight because they're all crouched. So what's our base chance for the torso? 63? So we should be able to get up, yep, 67. I both like and dislike that feature. It's both a good feature and it can be so fiddly. The best, here's my big recommendation. If you're gonna do down the E, right? You're gonna use the E tactic. Aim at the back, because they've got like the way these like they're not quite zombies, but basically zombies. Hunch, the way they kind of hunch over, is much easier to shoot them by aiming at the back, because it treats the same way as the front. A little tip for you that might spare you some trouble. Crouching, because that will increase aim even. Crouching is just like a very useful strategy all around. To be honest, we're probably going to kill them before we ever actually get a chance to fire our Lincoln. Boop. Let's go and defend. I don't really need to defend. I'll do it anyway. Okay, so yeah, we're probably gonna kill him before he ever gets a chance to shoot our shotgun. You don't want to just hit him enough. I might be okay to hit him one more time. Yes, I am. So I'll delay everyone's turn, just so that I can get some shotgun XP in, because I don't want to be kind of lagging behind everybody else. We'll delay turn, and if we miss, we'll have delayed our turn. We won't lose that much, because after these little fights, if you get hurt, you'll heal back up. So over time, so it's not too bad to take a few hits so they can get a few things accomplished. So we got a good amount of accuracy. Here we just have single. Yep, there we go. So that should have given us a good amount, give us some XP. Now I will warn you, if you go down big guns, it will take a long time to level up, because you can only fire, unlike shotguns, rifles, which can fire twice per round, pistols that can shoot like 4 times per round, and SMGs that can shoot twice, 3 times, or 4 times a round, depending if you waited or not. Big guns will only ever be able to fire once a round, which will mean that you'll level up much slower. Your general XP will still go up just as fast, right? But your skill XP will be your limiter. So if you are thinking of, like, I imagine once they release Psionics, if Psionics is only like a side ability, then probably a good comparable. Oh, they don't even notice we're here. It's really useful. So we want to move him up here. I have a feeling that they're not going to be able to notice him from here, but we'll try.
Time for some target practice.
But hold on, let's see. Move here. Have her crouch 2. Defend. Oh. Let's go. Well, we'll probably find where we are. They could be finicky with pressing, so I don't want to accidentally screw something up. And then they're find where they are, because once they get close, they can't be too close. We'll have them crouch, and might as well defend. And you get a little bit of AP left over, like you see 10 here. You normally start with 8. You get a little bit extra if you have some left over. So we'll move out to the open area, see if they notice us. Defend. Defend. But this is probably the most tactical way you can play the game, is by just kind of crawling through, kind of like a traditional dungeon crawl a little bit, but a little literally, by literally just crouching throughout. Let's keep them still a little distance away. Now you do have to crouch every time after you run. Let's go there. They still not notice us? Still hasn't noticed us. Kind of actually shocked at this point how close we can get. But I guess it's because it's got its back to us. It's got to be it. And this is also why I argue initiative isn't like the end-all be-all, is because a lot of times just by taking some precaution, you can end up setting yourself up in a position where their initiative is useless, and you don't have to kind of race initiative If anyone's ever played tabletop game, like if you played tabletop games, you'll be very familiar with initiative, or any CRPG really. You'll probably be familiar with initiative too. But I don't mess around with playing with racing with initiative. I rather be the last guy to move all the time than plan on being the first guy and have a random roll, because basically it's an initiative and a roll, and then being at the subject of luck. So that's just me. You can definitely do it, and you definitely can get to a point of where it's just not likely that they'll ever be fast enough to out initiative you. But the way I roll is I rather play it safe and make sure I can kill it faster rather than move before it. Because as long we had a little bit of an ambush there. So I want to defend. You know, they have a melee weapon, so they could theoretically, and they're actually pretty good at it, so they could theoretically defend themselves like that. Now, you don't want to diversify too much in combat skills, because again, that'll raise your level up really high, which you can diversify some. It's not like, it really won't hurt you to diversify some in skills, because you'll get to like kind of otherwise you'll fall behind people with faster shooting weapons. But it's not necessarily all the time. It's not necessarily. As weird as that sounds. Let's go. Okay, so we got the burst. We could burst for there, or we could shoot single shots, which we could shoot a lot of. Actually, we have a pretty good chance of just shooting them. So I'm just going to do a burst shot to him. The best part of SMG is that they so perfectly fit 4 and 4 into the 8 AP you typically get. And you almost always have 1 AP left anyway. So it just works real well. Shotguns, like, you can move around a little bit, and the good thing is you won't lose a shot. Since it's 3 and 3, you'll end up having 2 extra points anyway. So you could probably move one and duck, or stand up, shoot, and duck again. So shotguns have that benefit with rifles. But it's more of like a mitigating negative than really a benefit. We'll finish this fight, and actually we'll probably have to save now that I think about it. Oh, I don't actually have enough time to shoot, so I'll wait. So let's give the shotgun a good old whirl. Actually, it's got a little longer range than the SMG. I can see some benefit. Okay, so let's first crouch, because again, I'm going to get 3 shots now because I have 9. Okay. What's the base chance for 71? So we can get much better chance to shot. I think that, oh, we missed. We're missing a pretty big chance of success. Okay. Alright. Didn't do as much damage as I was hoping to. Hey, the damage mitigates. Again, I haven't actually really ever used shotguns in this, so I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, I'll wait. Also, I really should have reloaded before coming in here, but it's not that big a deal. The crouching also is just if you are doing... Crouching is really predominantly for if you are with friendly fire on. Without friendly fire, don't worry too much about crouching. It's not that big a deal. Unless you just want, if you have 1 extra point left over. But since we're playing with, we should have friendly fire on. Yeah, we do. Okay. But since we're playing with friendly fire on, it's definitely something you want to keep in mind, is to stay crouched. Now, I believe he actually has a worse hit rate because he's crouched as a melee character. Sometimes it seems like it changed it, other times it doesn't. So I'm almost sure that's somewhat affected by crouch. Okay, so switch to our rifle again. So we're gonna do a burst. Burst and a single fire. Well, we already killed him, so not a problem. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff. And let's check out this room. We'll run in here and we'll save in here. But I hope you're enjoying the prologue so far. I mean, I'm really excited for this game. Also, one other reason why is just kind of like the writing and kind of like the the TVs, everything. I don't know why. It just gives you the traditional sci-fi horror kind of vibe. I can see where you could see also like a Doom CRPG kind of in it too. But yeah, that's been fun. I'll go ahead. I'll save it off stream. But thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great weekend. It's been fun. I'll be eager to get back onto seeing how well Lincoln Clark here, Lincoln Clark, the cousin of Isaac Clarke here, the not really related. The cousin-in-law. How about that? He's just not really related. It's a different kind of Clark. He's the cousin-in-law here, and I'll show you real quick. You right-click this to reload. But let's see how he survives this universe out here. So, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. You all